What if I told you that the reason your manifestations aren't working has nothing to do with not doing enough, but with doing too much? What if the secret to attracting everything you desire isn't in the hustle, the affirmations, the vision boards, or the constant action, but in something far more radical? Doing absolutely nothing? Welcome to Quantum Love, where we explore the invisible forces that shape your reality. Today, we're diving into one of the most misunderstood principles in manifestation: quantum magnetic stillness. This is the art of doing nothing, being nothing, wanting nothing, and paradoxically attracting everything. And before you click away thinking this is just another spiritual bypass or lazy excuse, I'm going to show you the hard science behind why stillness is the most powerful manifesting tool you've never used. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine you're standing in a quiet lake, perfectly still. The water around you is calm, clear, and you can see your reflection perfectly. Now imagine you start thrashing around, creating waves, splashing, moving constantly. The water becomes turbulent, murky, and your reflection disappears completely. This is exactly what most people do when they're trying to manifest. They create so much noise, so much action, so much desperate energy that they completely obscure the very thing they're trying to attract. In our modern manifestation culture, we've been sold a lie. That manifestation requires constant action, relentless visualization, and unwavering effort. We're told to affirm 50 times a day, to script our desires, to visualize until we feel it, to take inspired action, to never stop believing, to keep pushing, to hustle harder. And what happens? We burn out. We feel exhausted. And our manifestations either don't come, or they come in distorted forms that don't truly satisfy us. Here's what nobody talks about. All that action, all that doing, all that trying is actually repelling what you want. Why? Because it's rooted in lack. When you're constantly doing something to manifest, you're sending a signal to the quantum field that says, I don't have this thing, so I must work to get it. And the quantum field, which operates on frequency and vibration, responds to that signal of lack by giving you more lack. Let me introduce you to the quantum physics behind this. In quantum mechanics, there's a principle called the observer effect. It states that the act of observing something changes it. But here's what most people miss. Observation doesn't mean actively looking or doing. It means awareness, pure, effortless awareness. When you observe a quantum particle, you collapse the wave function from a state of infinite possibility into one specific reality. But the key is that this observation must be neutral, not charged with expectation or desperation. Think about it like this. When scientists observe quantum particles in experiments, they don't sit there begging the particle to behave a certain way. They don't affirm, you are a wave, you are a wave, you are a wave. They simply observe with neutral awareness, and the particle responds to that observation by collapsing into a definite state. This is the power of quantum stillness. Pure observation without attachment to outcome. Now let's talk about magnetism. Every object that has mass has a gravitational field that attracts other objects. The Earth doesn't try to pull the moon into orbit. It doesn't affirm, I am magnetic, I am magnetic. It simply exists with its mass, and its gravitational field naturally attracts. You are exactly the same. You have an electromagnetic field generated by your heart and brain. This field extends several feet beyond your physical body, and it broadcasts your dominant vibration into the quantum field. When you're in a state of doing, trying, and efforting, your electromagnetic field is chaotic. It's sending mixed signals. I want this, but I don't have it. I desire this, but I'm afraid it won't come. I'm trying so hard, but what if I fail? This chaotic frequency creates electromagnetic static that blocks your natural magnetism. But when you enter a state of quantum stillness, when you release all effort and simply exist in a state of pure being, your electromagnetic field becomes coherent, clear, and exponentially more powerful. Studies in heart rate variability show that when you're in a state of inner peace and stillness, your heart rhythms become coherent, creating a smooth, ordered electromagnetic signal. This coherent signal is far more powerful than a chaotic one. It's the difference between a laser and a light bulb. A light bulb emits scattered photons in all directions, weak and diffused. A laser emits coherent photons all aligned in the same direction, powerful enough to cut through steel. Your still, coherent energy is a laser. Your chaotic, effortful energy is a light bulb. Here's where most manifestation teachings go wrong. They confuse desire with desperation. Desire is natural, it's the spark that sets creation in motion. But when desire becomes desperation, when it becomes grasping, clinging, needing, it transforms from creation into resistance. And resistance is the opposite of magnetism. When you resist what is, when you push against reality because it's not what you want, you create an energetic wall between you and your desires. Quantum magnetic stillness is about releasing resistance. It's about accepting what is so completely that you're no longer in conflict with reality. This doesn't mean giving up on your desires or settling for less. It means releasing the desperate need for things to be different right now. It means trusting the quantum field so deeply that you can relax into the present moment without anxiety about the future. Let me share a story. Michael was the entrepreneur desperately trying to manifest financial abundance. He did everything right according to manifestation teachings: vision boards, affirmations, visualizations, gratitude journals, inspired action. He worked 18-hour days, hustled constantly, affirmed his wealth, visualized his success, and yet, month after month, his business struggled. He was stressed, exhausted, and his bank account kept draining. Then one day, burned out and depleted, he gave up. Not in a defeated way, but in a surrendered way. He stopped all his manifestation practices. He stopped trying to force outcomes. He stopped checking his bank account obsessively. He simply focused on being present, doing work he enjoyed, and trusting that whatever was meant to come would come. Within 3 weeks, everything shifted. An unexpected client appeared offering a contract worth more than he'd made all year. Opportunities started flowing in effortlessly. His business transformed, not because he did more, but because he stopped doing and started being. This is the paradox of quantum magnetic stillness. When you stop chasing, things come to you. When you stop trying to control, you gain true power. When you release attachment, you become magnetic. But here's the challenge. You cannot fake stillness. You cannot pretend to be detached while secretly obsessing over your desires. The quantum field reads your true frequency, not your performed frequency. You cannot lie to the universe. True quantum stillness requires a fundamental shift in your relationship with desire itself. Most people relate to their desires from a place of incompleteness. When I have the money, then I'll be happy. When I meet my soulmate, then I'll feel whole. When I achieve success, then I'll feel worthy. This is inverted creation. You're placing your happiness, your wholeness, your worth in some future moment when your desire manifests, and as long as your emotional state is dependent on getting something external, you remain in a state of lack. The quantum field doesn't respond to what you want, it responds to what you are. If you are someone who feels incomplete without money, you'll keep creating experiences of incompleteness regardless of how much money you have. If you are someone who feels unworthy without external validation, you'll keep creating experiences that confirm your unworthiness even when you achieve great things. The external world is always a mirror of your internal state. Quantum magnetic stillness is about becoming the thing you desire before it manifests. Not pretending to be it, not acting as if, but actually embodying the frequency of already having it. And here's the secret. The only way to truly embody that frequency is to realize you don't actually need the thing you desire to be complete. You are already whole. You are already worthy. You are already enough. The desire is simply an extension of your wholeness, not a requirement for it. Let me explain the neuroscience of this. Your brain has something called the reticular activating system, or RAS. This is a network of neurons that filters information and determines what you pay attention to. When you're desperately seeking something, when you're in a state of lack, your RAS becomes hypervigilant, constantly scanning for evidence of what you don't have. You notice every person who has what you want. You feel the absence of your desire constantly. This keeps you locked in a frequency of lack. But when you enter quantum stillness, when you become complete within yourself, your RAS shifts. Instead of scanning for lack, it starts noticing abundance. Instead of focusing on what's missing, it highlights what's present. This isn't toxic positivity or spiritual bypassing. This is literally rewiring your brain to perceive reality differently. And when your perception changes, your reality changes, because reality is nothing more than your interpretation of quantum probabilities. Here's another quantum principle, the principle of least action. In physics, systems naturally evolve along the path of least resistance, the path that requires the least energy. A river doesn't force its way downhill, it flows along the path of least resistance. Light doesn't try to reach your eye, it travels along the shortest path. Nature operates through effortless efficiency, not through struggle and force. You are nature. You are not separate from the quantum field, you are an expression of it. When you try to force manifestations through constant action and effort, you're working against the natural flow of the universe. But when you enter stillness, when you align with the path of least resistance, manifestations flow to you effortlessly. This doesn't mean you never take action. It means your action comes from inspiration, not desperation. It comes from overflow, not emptiness. Think about the great creators, inventors, and artists throughout history. Their breakthroughs didn't come from forcing or trying harder. They came from moments of stillness, of surrender, of letting go. Einstein discovered relativity not while working frantically at his desk, but while daydreaming and imagining himself riding a beam of light. Newton discovered gravity not through intense study, but while sitting quietly under a tree. Archimedes had his eureka moment not while calculating, but while relaxing in a bath. The quantum field communicates with you in stillness, not in chaos. Inspiration, intuition, synchronicity, these are all signals from the quantum field guiding you toward your manifestations. But you cannot hear these signals when your mind is constantly chattering, when you're always doing, always trying, always pushing. It's like trying to hear a whisper at a rock concert. The signal is there, but it's drowned out by the noise you're creating. This is why meditation is so powerful for manifestation. Not because you're sending out intentions or visualizing during meditation, but because you're creating space for the quantum field to communicate with you. In that silence, in that stillness, you receive the downloads, the insights, the intuitive hits that guide you toward your desires in ways your logical mind could never orchestrate. Let's talk about quantum entanglement and manifestation. When two particles become entangled, they remain connected regardless of distance. When you measure one particle, the other particle instantly responds, even if it's on the other side of the universe. This suggests that at the quantum level, everything is interconnected, everything is one unified field. You are not separate from your desires. You are already entangled with them at the quantum level. The manifestation isn't something you need to create or attract from outside yourself. It already exists in the quantum field as a probability. Your job isn't to make it happen. Your job is to become the version of yourself for whom that probability collapses into reality. And the fastest way to become that version is not through doing, but through being, through stillness, through alignment. Here's a practice I call quantum magnetic stillness meditation. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, and instead of visualizing your desire or affirming anything, simply drop into your body. Feel your breath moving in and out. Feel the beating of your heart. Feel the energy pulsing through your cells. Now imagine your electromagnetic field extending beyond your body, several feet in all directions. See this field as a sphere of light around you. Now, instead of projecting your desires outward into this field, simply allow the field to be. Don't add anything to it. Don't try to make it stronger or brighter. Just observe it with neutral awareness. As you sit in this stillness, notice any thoughts about what you want or don't have. Don't judge them. Don't try to change them. Just observe them and let them pass like clouds in the sky. Keep returning to the stillness, to the pure awareness of your electromagnetic field existing without effort. What you're doing in this practice is training your nervous system to be magnetic without grasping. You're creating coherence in your field without attaching to outcomes. You're aligning with the quantum stillness that is the foundation of all creation. Do this practice for just 10 minutes a day and watch how your reality begins to shift. Not because you're doing something to manifest, but because you're removing the energetic blocks that were preventing your natural magnetism from working. Here's what people get wrong about the law of attraction. They think it's about attracting things to you. It's not. It's about removing the resistance that's blocking things from flowing to you. Everything you desire already wants to come to you. The universe is naturally abundant, naturally generous, naturally flowing. But your resistance, your doubt, your desperation, your trying, these create energetic blocks that stop the flow. Quantum magnetic stillness dissolves those blocks, not by fighting them, not by overcoming them, but by becoming so still that they have nothing to push against. Resistance can only exist where there's something to resist. When you enter complete stillness, complete acceptance, complete presence, resistance dissolves because there's nothing there to maintain it. Let me share with you the quantum mechanics of why doing nothing is actually doing everything. In quantum field theory, there's a concept called the zero-point energy field. This is the lowest possible energy state of a quantum system, but it's not actually empty or inactive. Even in complete vacuum, even in absolute stillness, the quantum field is teeming with activity. Virtual particles are constantly popping in and out of existence. Energy is fluctuating. Creation is happening at every moment. This is what true stillness is. It's not emptiness or inactivity. It's alignment with the fundamental creative force of the universe. When you enter quantum magnetic stillness, you're not doing nothing in the sense of being passive or lazy. You're aligning yourself with the zero-point field, the place where all possibilities exist, where all creation originates. Most people are so busy trying to manipulate reality at the surface level that they never access this deeper level of creation. They're rearranging furniture on the Titanic while the ship is sinking. They're changing their actions, their behaviors, their strategies, but they're not changing their fundamental frequency. And frequency is everything. You cannot create $1 million reality from a poverty consciousness, no matter how much you hustle. You cannot create a loving relationship from a frequency of unworthiness, no matter how many dating apps you join. Quantum magnetic stillness takes you to the level of frequency, the level of being, the level where real transformation happens. And here's the beautiful irony. When you change your frequency through stillness, your external actions naturally change too. But they change from the inside out, not from the outside in. You stop forcing and start flowing. You stop pushing and start allowing. You stop trying to make things happen and start letting things happen through you. Let's talk about the concept of Wu Wei from Taoist philosophy. Wu Wei means effortless action, or action through non-action. It's the art of accomplishing everything by doing nothing. Or more accurately, by aligning yourself so perfectly with the natural flow of reality that your actions become effortless expressions of that flow, rather than forced manipulations against it. A master of Wu Wei doesn't try to swim upstream. They don't exhaust themselves fighting against the current. They simply turn around, align with the flow, and let the river carry them exactly where they need to go. This is quantum magnetic stillness in practice. You're not giving up on your desires. You're not being passive or resigned. You're becoming so aligned with the fundamental flow of the universe that your desires manifest through you rather than because of you. There's a profound difference between these two. When manifestations happen because of you, they require constant effort, constant maintenance, constant control. The moment you stop pushing, they collapse. But when manifestations happen through you, they're supported by the entire quantum field. They're effortless, sustainable, and often exceed what you could have orchestrated with your limited human perspective. Here's a quantum truth that will revolutionize your manifestation practice. You are not the doer. Your ego, your personality, your conscious mind is not what creates your reality. The quantum field creates your reality, and you are an expression of that field. When you try to manifest from your ego, from your limited perspective, you're like a wave trying to control the ocean. But when you surrender into stillness, when you remember that you are the ocean expressing itself as a wave, everything changes. This doesn't mean you have no free will or no role in creation. It means your role is not to force or control, but to align and allow. Your role is to become so clear, so still, so coherent in your frequency that you become a perfect vessel for the quantum field to express through. Think of yourself as a flute. The flute doesn't create the music. The breath moving through it creates the music. But if the flute is blocked, if it's clogged with resistance and fear and trying, the music cannot flow. When the flute is clear, open, still, the most beautiful music emerges effortlessly. Let me give you a practical framework for understanding when to be still and when to act. There are two types of action: forced action and inspired action. Forced action comes from your mind, from your fear, from your sense of lack. It feels like pushing, like swimming upstream, like you have to make something happen or it won't. This type of action is exhausting, and it rarely produces the results you want. Even when it does, those results feel hollow because they required you to betray your natural flow. Inspired action comes from stillness. It arises spontaneously from your alignment with the quantum field. It feels effortless, exciting, obvious. You're not forcing yourself to do it. You're compelled to do it by something deeper than your conscious will. This is the action that creates miracles. This is the action that manifests seemingly impossible results with surprising ease. The key difference is the source. Forced action comes from ego and fear. Inspired action comes from stillness and alignment. So how do you know which is which? Here's the test. Does the action feel heavy or light? Does it feel like obligation or inspiration? Are you doing it because you're afraid of what will happen if you don't? Or because you're excited about what will happen if you do? If it's heavy, obligatory, and fear-based, stop. Return to stillness. Wait for the inspired action to emerge. If it's light, exciting, and flow-based, move with it fully and trust where it leads. This requires tremendous trust. Your ego will scream at you that if you don't force things to happen, nothing will happen. Your mind will tell you that stillness is irresponsible, that you're being lazy, that you're wasting time. This is the voice of fear, and fear is always a liar. Fear operates from the illusion of separation. from the belief that you are alone in a hostile universe and you must fight for everything you get. But quantum physics has proven that separation is an illusion. Everything is connected. Everything is one unified field. You are not separate from your desires. You are not separate from abundance. You are not separate from love. You are already one with everything you seek. Quantum magnetic stillness is the practice of remembering this truth. Not intellectually, but experientially. When you sit in stillness and feel your connection to the quantum field, when you sense the intelligence that is breathing you, beating your heart, growing your cells, orchestrating the dance of billions of atoms that comprise your body, you realize you are not alone. You are not separate. You are an expression of infinite intelligence, and that intelligence is always working on your behalf. But here's where people get confused. They think this means they can just sit around and wait for things to magically appear. That's not quantum stillness. That's spiritual bypassing. True stillness is active, not passive. It's alert, aware, present. It's a state of readiness to move when inspiration strikes, but not a state of forcing movement when inspiration is absent. It's the difference between a predator stalking prey and a predator waiting in ambush. The ambush predator isn't inactive. It's intensely present, poised, ready. But it's not wasting energy on unnecessary movement. It's conserving its power until the perfect moment to strike. Your manifestations work the same way. There are times when the quantum field is arranging circumstances, aligning synchronicities, preparing the path for your desire to manifest. During these times, your job is to be still, to trust, to remain in your power without grasping or forcing. Then there are moments when the path clears, when inspiration strikes, when the perfect action becomes obvious. In those moments, you move swiftly and decisively, but you're not moving from desperation or fear, you're moving from alignment and power. Let's address the biggest objection to quantum magnetic stillness. But I have bills to pay. I have responsibilities. I can't just sit around doing nothing and expect money to appear. This objection reveals a fundamental misunderstanding. Stillness doesn't mean you stop showing up to work or neglecting your responsibilities. It means you stop attaching your emotional state and sense of worth to outcomes. It means you perform your duties from a place of presence and peace rather than anxiety and desperation. Here's what happens when you bring stillness into your daily life. Your work becomes more effective because you're not scattered and anxious. Your decisions become better because you're accessing intuition rather than just logic. Your relationships improve because you're present rather than distracted by worry about the future. Your health improves because your nervous system shifts from chronic stress to coherent calm. And paradoxically, opportunities start appearing that you never could have planned or forced into existence. I want to share with you a quantum secret that changed everything for me. Your manifestations are not delayed, they're incubating. In the quantum field, everything exists simultaneously. Past, present, and future are happening now. Your desire already exists as a probability wave in the quantum field. The moment you have a desire, the manifestation of that desire is created simultaneously in quantum potential. The only question is, when will it collapse from probability into your physical reality? This collapse happens when your frequency matches the frequency of the manifestation. Not when you work hard enough, not when you deserve it enough, not when you prove yourself enough, when your frequency matches. And here's the quantum paradox. The fastest way to match the frequency of your desire is to stop needing it. Because need is a frequency of lack, and lack cannot attract abundance. Only abundance attracts abundance. Only wholeness attracts wholeness. Only love attracts love. Quantum magnetic stillness is the practice of becoming abundant before the abundance appears, becoming whole before the relationship manifests, becoming successful before the success materializes. This isn't fake it till you make it positive thinking. This is quantum physics. You are collapsing the wave function through the coherence of your being, not through the desperation of your doing. Let me give you the ultimate quantum magnetic stillness practice. I call it the I am already meditation. Find a quiet space, close your eyes, and instead of visualizing what you want or affirming what you desire, simply repeat this phrase. I am already everything I seek to become. Don't say it as a future goal. Don't say it as something you're trying to convince yourself of. Say it as a present moment recognition of quantum truth. You are already in quantum potential everything you desire to be. As you repeat this phrase, notice what comes up. Your ego will probably resist. It will say, no, you're not. Look at your bank account. Look at your relationship status. Look at your current circumstances. This is your ego trying to keep you locked in the illusion of separation, in the illusion that you are separate from your desires. But in quantum reality, you are not separate. You are entangled. You are one. Your desires are not out there somewhere waiting to be attracted. They are within you, waiting to be recognized and embodied. Sit with this truth. Breathe into it. Feel what it would feel like if it were absolutely true that you already are everything you seek. Not in some future moment, but right now. How would you breathe if you were already abundant? How would you sit if you were already in your dream relationship? How would you speak if you were already successful? Embody that frequency now, in this moment, without waiting for external circumstances to change. This is the quantum leap. This is the shift from seeking to being, from becoming to already. And when you make this shift, when you embody the frequency of your desire before it manifests physically, the quantum field has no choice but to reorganize physical reality to match your frequency. This isn't magic, it's quantum mechanics. The observer collapses the wave function. Your state of being determines what you observe. Change your being, change your observation, change your reality. Now let's talk about the concept of quantum coherence in manifestation. In quantum physics, coherence means that waves are in phase with each other, aligned, synchronized. When light is coherent, it becomes a laser, powerful enough to cut through steel. When your electromagnetic field is coherent, when your thoughts, emotions, beliefs, and actions are all aligned on the same frequency, you become a manifestation laser. Nothing can resist your focused, coherent intention. But coherence cannot be forced. It emerges naturally from stillness. When you're scattered, anxious, desperate, trying to control everything, your field is incoherent. You're broadcasting on multiple contradictory frequencies simultaneously. I want this, but I don't believe I can have it. I desire this, but I'm afraid it won't come. I'm taking action, but I don't trust it will work. These mixed signals create energetic static that blocks your manifestations. Quantum magnetic stillness clears the static. In stillness, your thoughts settle, your emotions calm, your beliefs align with your deepest truth, and your actions flow from inspiration rather than desperation. This creates coherence. And coherence creates miracles. Not because you're doing more, but because you're being clear. The universe doesn't respond to how hard you're trying. It responds to how clear your signal is. Here's a practice for creating quantum coherence. Throughout your day, whenever you notice yourself slipping into anxiety about your manifestations, into checking and controlling and forcing, pause. Take 3 deep breaths. On the first breath, release the doing. On the second breath, release the trying. On the third breath, return to being. Simply be present in your body in this moment without needing anything to be different than it is. This simple practice, repeated consistently, will transform your electromagnetic field from incoherent chaos to coherent power. Let me address one final concern. If I stop trying, if I just accept what is, won't I become complacent? Won't I stop growing and evolving? This question reveals a fundamental misunderstanding of stillness. Stillness is not stagnation. Stillness is the space from which all growth emerges. A seed must be still in the dark soil before it can burst forth into growth. A woman must be still in pregnancy before she can birth new life. The universe itself emerged from the stillness of the void. Your growth doesn't come from constant striving. It comes from alignment with your highest truth, and that alignment can only be found in stillness. When you're constantly doing, you're operating from your limited human perspective, from your ego's agenda. But when you enter stillness, you connect with the infinite intelligence of the quantum field. And from that connection, growth happens naturally, organically, perfectly. Think of a tree. Does a tree force itself to grow? Does it set goals and make action plans and hustle toward the sky? No. It simply aligns with the intelligence of nature, draws nutrients from the soil, absorbs light from the sun, and grows effortlessly. This is quantum magnetic stillness in action. You are not separate from nature, you are nature. When you align with your natural flow, growth becomes effortless. Here's your quantum magnetic stillness action plan, which paradoxically involves very little action. First, commit to 10 minutes of stillness every morning. Not meditation where you're visualizing or affirming, but pure stillness. Just sitting, breathing, being. This recalibrates your electromagnetic field and sets your frequency for the day. Second, throughout your day, practice the pause. Whenever you notice yourself slipping into doing mode, into controlling mode, into anxious mode, pause. 3 breaths. Return to stillness. Return to being. Third, before taking any action, ask yourself, is this inspired action or forced action? Am I doing this from alignment or from fear? If it's from alignment, move with it fully. If it's from fear, return to stillness until inspiration emerges. Fourth, practice the I am already meditation for 5 minutes before bed. This programs your subconscious mind with the frequency of your fulfilled desire. And your subconscious mind is far more powerful than your conscious mind at manifesting reality. Fifth, and this is the most important, trust the timing of the quantum field. Your manifestations are not delayed, they're incubating. They're being orchestrated by an intelligence far greater than your limited human perspective. When you plant a seed, you don't dig it up every day to check if it's growing. You trust the process. You water it, give it light, and allow nature to do its work. Your desires are the same. They're planted in the quantum field. Your job is to maintain your frequency, stay in stillness, and trust that they're growing even when you can't see them yet. The quantum field is always responding to you. Not to your words, not to your actions, but to your being. Every moment you are broadcasting a frequency, and every moment, the quantum field is reflecting that frequency back to you in the form of your experiences. When you shift from desperate doing to magnetic being, when you enter quantum stillness, your frequency shifts from lack to abundance, from seeking to having, from becoming to already. And when that shift happens, everything changes. Not overnight, not magically, but inevitably. The universe begins reorganizing itself to match your new frequency. Opportunities appear that weren't there before. People enter your life who are aligned with your new vibration. Circumstances shift in ways that would have seemed impossible from your old frequency. This is not coincidence, this is quantum mechanics. This is the natural result of changing your observer effect, of collapsing different probability waves through the coherence of your being. I want you to understand something profound. You are not small, you are not powerless, you are not at the mercy of external circumstances. You are a localized expression of the infinite quantum field. The same intelligence that spins galaxies, that orchestrates the dance of atoms, that grows a human from a single cell, that intelligence is within you. It is you. When you enter quantum magnetic stillness, you remember this truth. You stop identifying with your limited ego self, and you recognize yourself as an expression of infinite creative power. From that recognition, manifestation becomes effortless. Not because you're doing nothing, but because you're aligned with everything. You're no longer swimming upstream against the current of the universe. You're floating downstream with it, and the current carries you exactly where you need to go. Sometimes faster than you expected, sometimes slower, but always perfectly timed according to the intelligence that knows far more than your conscious mind ever could. So here's my invitation to you. For the next 30 days, practice quantum magnetic stillness. Stop all your forced manifestation techniques. Stop the desperate visualizing, the anxious affirming, the compulsive action taking. Replace all of that with stillness. 10 minutes of pure stillness every morning. The pause practice throughout your day. The I am already meditation before bed. That's it. Watch what happens. Watch how your life begins to reorganize itself when you stop forcing it and start allowing it. You might be surprised. You might be shocked. You might find that doing nothing accomplishes more than all your years of doing everything ever did. Because quantum magnetic stillness isn't really doing nothing. It's aligning with the infinite creative power of the universe. It's becoming a clear channel for quantum intelligence to flow through you. It's remembering that you are not separate from your desires. You are not separate from abundance. You are not separate from love. You are the quantum field, experiencing itself, creating itself, manifesting itself. And from that place of remembering, from that place of stillness, from that place of magnetic being, you don't attract your desires. You reveal them. They were always there in quantum potential, waiting for you to match their frequency. And matching their frequency doesn't require more doing. It requires less. It requires stillness. It requires trust. It requires surrender to the intelligence that has been orchestrating this entire cosmic dance since before time began. Thank you for being here on Quantum Love. If this video has shifted something in you, if you're ready to stop forcing and start flowing, if you're ready to enter quantum magnetic stillness and watch your reality transform, leave a comment below sharing what resonated most with you. And if you haven't already, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel because we're diving deep into quantum manifestation, conscious relationships, and the invisible forces that shape your reality. Remember, you are not your struggles, you are not your limitations, you are the infinite quantum field, and from stillness, all things are possible. I'll see you in the next video.